Hi everyone, this is my Stihl Hla65 which I've owned for a few years now. I did a job in the spring that required me cutting a hedge. Unbeknownst to me, there was some wire in the hedge which jarred the blade and it made the motor here pop up. I couldn't do anything about it on site, so I brought it home and had a look, and I managed to take the cover off, pop it back in, and it was going again. But now if I hit anything over say 7 or 8 mil, it'll jar it again. So I've taken the back off and I wanted to show you the other side because I've hit a bit of a snag. So to remove this plastic covering, there's 4 screws and it comes apart, and there you see the motor. No real issues with that. It's an older one, 2013 it says on there. So I'll show you what I've got when I flip it over. There you go. So this is the gear housing. Now originally the first problem I had when I took off the plastic cover, as I've seen on a few videos, is all of these have snapped off at some point by the previous owner because he'd held it on with some cable ties. And there were various bits and bobs in there that shouldn't be in there. These are the screws that hold it together, sorry. So there's the top of a bearing cover there. I found this little circlip in there in the debris of basically hedge waste and gear waste, and basically this little plate here sits on the top there. I've put the screws back in for now, and you can see there's the end of the motor gears there that go through that bearing there. And what was happening was that bearing was shooting back upwards, having hit something. So I've taken the bearing plate off and I've turned it over, and I've had to hammer the bearing out because I've got a new bearing on order, because that needs a cover on it. It's that way up. That should be all covered, those ball bearings. So there's a new one of those on order. However, this was kicking around in the debris. Now when I ordered the new back plate, I saw this on the parts diagram, which is a flathead screw. Now this is supposed to fit on top of that bearing into the motor like that, I presume, to stop the motor from disappearing the opposite direction. However, the new screw, which was 80p, doesn't fit in the end of this motor housing. I think it's an M4, and that I have checked in there, and there is a thread in there, but it looks like probably something like an M3 or M2, very small. And there's nothing on the parts diagram. All the screws are for M4. This is shown, and I'm presuming because it's an older model, this circlip, it will fit in that little ridge in there without a screw on the top. So the bearing will sit on there, and then when it goes down properly, and then that circlip will clip back in. But like I say, all the models I've seen, they all have this screw going into the top of the and there's no way that's going in. So I'm going to have to abandon that screw wait for my new bearing to turn up, put it back in the plate, reassemble, and then hope that circlip holds when it's in place. Otherwise, it's been a fantastic machine. The batteries on these are great, the AP batteries. I'm hoping with a bit of care, love and care, these new battery housing will last as well. I don't think it's had much of that over the years, but I want to try and keep it going. If not, I'll have to buy a new motor, which is £100 odd. Failing that, a new machine, which is 400, because they've moved on now. Okay, any advice will be helpful. Leave a message in the comments. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.